A new bill being proposed in Ohio's House of Representatives would make refusing to disclose identification at a traffic stop punishable by up to 30 days in jail. Attorney Brian Kopp joins me now to explain. Hi, Brian.
How are you?
I'm good. So House Bill 492 would create a new offense for drivers refusing to show identification at a traffic stop. First off, explain what the existing law is and that if Ohio drivers are required to show ID.
Well, that's an interesting concept. As people are seeing on the internet, it's dependent on circumstance in a lot of situations, and it's different from state to state. But right now, the confrontation, I would say, is a blended area. So that question is not quite simple. Let's start with the assumption you don't have to, so we can analyze the change.
All right. So why might someone not want to identify themselves, you think?
Well, this government intrusion belief, it's real in a lot of circumstances, and others it's not. And I try and analyze it. We are protectors of constitutional rights, but we also champion law-abiding citizens. So when you think about that, the belief right now with police is that we could put ourselves in dangerous situations if we can't get identity. We could allow people to move on that may have warrants out for them. So if you start with why is there a confrontation, then things change. This law, the fear that comes with it is somebody could just stop you in a car just to get identification without maybe the suspicion of there being a traffic violation or those things. And we see that a lot in Fourth Amendment motions to suppress kind of situations where there's a sham stop so that you can investigate without warrants.
So you think this could lead to a lot more problems?
I think it could. And two is, when you talk about obstruction with official business, which is what most people would have alleged before this bill, refusing to give identity is not an outward act. It's not interfering with something. So the law enforcement in the state was seeing difficulty with refusal over how can we force this issue. I am not a big fan of reactionary legislation. We've existed as long as we have without such a statute. I think like everything else, in the modern culture, internet and the influence that it has on modern culture has created this scenario where I don't have to give identification. But really, I think the potential, in my opinion, is this could be abused more than it could be helpful.
Right. Now, this bill would give drivers who refuse to show ID a fourth-degree misdemeanor. What would the punishment for that be?
When you think about like a routine traffic stop, everyone that's driven a car has been stopped, and you get a minor misdemeanor. You don't have to appear in court. You can send it in. If you want to fight it, you go. When you start talking about things that could be subject to a 30-day jailable offense in Ohio and hundreds of dollars in fines, the level of seriousness starts climbing rapidly.
What is there current punishment if you don't show ID? Is it case by case? No.
That's where you're coming back to some people. I shouldn't say people. Some jurisdictions have attempted to charge it as a form of obstructing official business, but that's not sticking right now.
And of course, this could take away protections for Ohioans who may be vulnerable too, right? We have to think about them.
Well, I think that's where probably law enforcement is ultimately heading. When you pass the statute, and I say this to people all the time, people get upset with lawyers, but we usually deal with the fallout of bad law. And so I'm not saying it's a good or bad statute. I just think there's a cautionary tale with rewriting statutes in relation to what I say is a trend, maybe not the overwhelming trend of how drivers are interacting with police. So I'm very hesitant to get on slippery slopes when it comes to legislation.
Absolutely. Brian Kopp, as always, we appreciate it.
Always good talking to you, Derek.